Nacht Der Untoten represents the fundamentals of zombies. It's not quite the standard that zombies maps need to reach, but rather the rock bottom. The map is the minimum of what Call of Duty Zombies needs to be. Of course, you could take that as this map is bare bones, maybe it's lacking, but instead I view it as the base from which to grow on. This is the ground floor, this is where it all started, and it only goes up from here. But of course, we're starting from the very beginning. Nacht is, of course, the first Zombies map to ever be released. It was created as an Easter egg to unlock after you completed the main campaign of Call of Duty World at War. Up until this point, Call of Duty had a single player and its multiplayer. There was not the third pinnacle yet established in modern Call of Duty. Nacht was just a fun thing the devs messed around with, and it was created as a one-off game mode and an Easter egg behind the scenes when they were weapon balancing. You know, they were messing around, getting ready for weapon testing, and the devs had fun, they fleshed it out, they gave us this little gray, bleak beauty that we call Nacht Der Untoten. So Nacht Der Untoten is a very simple map. There are 3 rooms total, and that includes the spawn room. There are some basic weapon wall buys, a radio that plays music, no Easter eggs, a single mystery box location, only the ray gun is a wonder weapon, no perks, no pack-a-punch, and no good area to train or survive. While these days this map would be considered a lacking and possibly boring experience, at the time it was fresh and it was an untapped idea. It represents a time when Zombies was at its most difficult to survive. Zombies was focused on who could survive the longest. There were no Easter eggs, no hidden buildables, and no story elements to discover. It was purely gameplay focused, and we're going to spend the next 10 or so minutes breaking that down. We're going to look at all 3 iterations of the map in World at War, Black Ops 1, and Black Ops 3. These are the true releases as of now. I am not including the Easter egg area of transit where the map is hidden out in the cornfield. That will not be included because it is not an actual map. And let's be honest, you're not going to make it out there long. There's no weapons, wall buys, etc. all the way out in the transit area. Now, the story of the map is very simple. There are 4 Marines whose plane crashed into a German convoy during World War II. This releases 115 that they were carrying, causes the Germans to turn into zombies, and the Marines must survive, and they don't. There's probably some little additional details somewhere hidden in the lore, but honestly, that's all you really need to know, and that's all you cared about when this map first came out. You weren't playing this for the story or the lore. The characters aren't important. That being said, if you are playing on the remasters, you are playing as the classic characters of Takiao, Nikolai, Dempsey, and Richtofen, though of course those versions are non-canon, just replayable. You spawn in the modestly spacious starting room, and you have access to some truly awful wall weapons depending on the version of the game you are playing. If you're a real man, you will pick up the Kar 98. From there, you wait about 10 minutes for the match to actually start, because the zombies spawn way too far away from the bunker, and move way too slow for the early rounds, so the match takes forever. Now, this problem is fixed in the later versions, sort of. Black Ops 1, they're still really bad. Black Ops 3, there's a lot of added scenery, and the zombies move just a little bit faster, so the problem is still there, but it's a little bit better in the remasters, but the rounds take forever. Normally it will take a minimum of round 3, but realistically round 5 before the match actually gets going. You start getting a steady stream of zombies. Until then, it is slow, it is boring. And if you're new to the game, it kind of gives you a moment to breathe and set up for survival, but for longtime fans, it's awful. Next, you can open the door to the mystery box and radio room, or if you're a mouth breather, you open the couch stairway. If you took the mystery box way, you get access to a mystery box, fancy that. You also get 2 more wall buys, and then a staircase to the upstairs. Upstairs, you're going to find 3 more wall buys, grenades, and a cabinet with an overpriced sniper, which is again our favorite, the Kar 98. If you're playing the Black Ops 1 version, you'll have Mule Kick in the starting room, which feels rather weird, since it's the only perk available, and it doesn't really help, because you still go down in 2 hits, and you're going to lose the perk really fast. In Black Ops 3, they decided to move Mule Kick to the other wall, and they added Gobblegums and Wonder Fizz, so you do have all perks on that version of the map. Speaking of getting hit, let's talk about the difficulty. Nacht is known for being one of the worst maps for getting high rounds. There is no good strategy for doing so. The best training spot on the map is probably the mystery box room. That being said, the map is so small that you could try to do a full map train, but you'll probably get the tail end of your train, blocking your entryway where you're going forward. The other problem with training is, of course, you do not have Juggernog, so you will be taking 2 hits and going down, and zombies like to pull a quick one on you. They're going to swipe you really fast. Of course, that leaves the other classic strategy, camping, and the best camping strategy is upstairs near the couch stairway, as long as you haven't opened the pathway up. The problem here is on solo, you're going to find yourself reloading and cornered once you get to around 15. And even in co-op, you will eventually hit a wall where your weapons just aren't going to kill them fast enough, and this map is not easy for a reason. That is, until we get to the later iterations of the map. Black Ops 3 and 4 have rightfully been critiqued for being a much easier zombies experience. They're not bad, they're still fun, of course, but I've been playing a ton of those later games, and they are different. When it comes to Black Ops 3 and Nacht Der Untoten, you do get to take an additional hit before you go down, both with or without Jug. You can get Jug, which is a whole nother thing, but you move around the map very quickly when you use the slide and jump mechanic, which every Zombies player knows use the slide and jump mechanic. And you can get access to Gobblegum, which will break the game by allowing you to get Pack-a-Punch, you can get all the perks, and you can get random drops and other things that are just going to make the game so much easier. From the fact that the Wonder Fizz machine is there, so you can get perks anyways, even if you're limited to 4, and that the guns in Black Ops 3 are universally good. They're way more useful than in World at War or Black Ops 1. You know, some of the worst weapons in Black Ops 3 are still viable, at least to a certain extent. And with Double Pack, all weapons are viable, pretty much. If you're playing the Black Ops 1 version, though, all you get is Mule Kick, and then another set of very poorly balanced weapons. You're not going to be surviving past round 20 with most of them. Black Ops 1 is still just as hard, just a little bit weirder with Mule Kick, but just as hard as World at War. Now, if you want the truest challenge experience, I suggest you go back to the original, or maybe you try the Black Ops 1 version. This map doesn't allow you to get Jug, it leaves you vulnerable the entire match, and you don't get quick revive, so you're not going to be reviving yourself. You get one down, and that is it. The zombies in those games are a little more funky, they get a little slap happy, which means even if you're knifing in the early rounds, you can go down like this. Now, I did used to have a problem with the updated versions of the maps. The guns are obviously different, the sandboxes are obviously different because of that. The perks, and especially the Gobblegums, they break that original feel of the map. That was until I heard Tim Henson on YouTube talk about something similar in one of his videos. I don't really remember which one it was, so sorry about that. But in that video, it helped me realize that a newer, alternative version doesn't exactly ruin the map, because the older one still exists. And I don't know why it took me so long to realize that, but it did. The newer version obviously offers a different experience, but maybe you like the newer version better. I prefer Classified over to 5. At launch, I did not like the Black Ops 1 remaster. When it first came to the game, I thought just adding Mule Kick was why. But at the same point in time, then the Black Ops 3 remaster happened, and I realized that it's not the same map. Of course, the future game sandboxes and experiences are different, and it allows for somebody maybe to enjoy that version more. It doesn't really ruin the experience, because you could always go back to that original experience, and you can prefer whatever one. That being said, it's still really confusing why they added Mule Kick in Black Ops 1, but who cares. Ultimately, Nacht is the challenge in its purest form. The best thing you have to work with is the ray gun, and even that craps out pretty early. In the alternate versions, you will get the Thunder Gun, which will make it a lot easier, but not perfect, and still the map itself is hard to train on, and if you don't have Jug, there's not much you can do with or without the ray gun. The map is bare, it lacks what we expect in modern zombies experiences, but it's also pure. It's worth challenging yourself with, and that's why it's remade so many times. Of course, that doesn't mean it's a go-to casual map. If I want to play zombies for some quick fun or something to do in the evening, I'm definitely not picking Nacht. Everything positive I've said so far could very much be taken as a negative, and there's so many other options. Nacht has absurdly slow zombie rounds. It's difficult, it's cramped, and I don't have nearly as many options as I would if I were playing any other zombies game, any other zombies map. Nacht is not my favorite map, not even close, but it's worth playing here and there, and it did lay the groundwork for essentially everything else to come. And that, of course, was my analysis of the map, Nacht Der Untoten. If you enjoyed, consider a like or something like that. I thought I'd try my hand at some zombies videos, which is probably my favorite game mode in any game ever. I've put countless hours into each iteration of the game. Last month I even took a week or so when I did every zombies Easter egg in Black Ops 3 with some friends. I'm going to continue analyzing the maps up until and probably through the launch of the next Call of Duty, maybe even the one after that. And I'm also going to be trying some new ideas I haven't really seen on YouTube, so stay tuned if you want to see that. And thanks again for making it this far in the video. I'll see you next time.